I became interested 20 years ago in the emotional lives of animals. And it occurred to me that, except for Darwin, nobody had taken up this theme of how similar are we when it comes to our emotions to other animals. So I wrote a book called When Elephants Weep, The Emotional Lives of Animals. By the time I finished the book, I was a vegetarian because I felt if animals can feel compassion and friendship and love, it just didn't seem right to be killing them and eating them. When that book was so popular, I thought I would look at the emotions of farm animals. I went to visit a dairy farm in Pukekohe near Auckland and talked to the very enlightened farmer that was in charge of it, and he clearly liked cows and cared about cows. But as we began conversing, I realized that there was a lot of suffering involved in getting milk. It doesn't sound like it because you think, oh, what's the harm? You know, you're just drinking a little bit of the cow's milk. The only way to get milk is to have pregnant cows. Well, if the cows are pregnant, they give birth. Half of the babies they give birth to are males. So what happens to these cows that are not needed on a dairy farm? They're killed instantly, often in very brutal ways, or they're raised for veal. We separate the calves from their mothers the minute they're born because we don't want the calves to be drinking this milk, which we deem is for us. But in the cow's opinion, it's for her calf. So what happens is the cow starts calling for the calf calls the cow, and sometimes this can go on for weeks. They're miserable. In nature, they wouldn't be separated. So we've done something very artificial and something that hurts the cow and the calf. When this cow, who's pregnant all of her life, is finally exhausted from giving so much milk, she's killed. So it's not as if we say, okay, you've done a wonderful thing for us, we're putting you out to pasture for the rest of your life. We say, no, economically you're no longer useful, so we're going to kill you. And the same thing was true of getting eggs. They become spent hens, is the terrible expression they use. That is, they're no longer able to give these eggs, so they too are slaughtered. Most of the time they never even go outdoors, they don't see the sunshine, they don't, of course, hatch their eggs, they're not able to brood them. We simply take them away and use them for our own ends. It's a totally exploitative use of animals. The next step, obviously, if I was to remain consistent with what I was finding, was to become vegan. That is, somebody who doesn't use or exploit animals in any way, and who eats no animal products, so including dairy or eggs. If we can eat a healthy, delicious diet that does not involve harming other animals, why shouldn't we? Most people, of course, have never even thought about that. I think that's part of the problem, is that people are not well informed. It is relatively easy today to be better informed. I mean, if you just go to the internet and type in, what does a vegan eat? You'll come up with literally hundreds of thousands of recipes of good and delicious food. Often it's less expensive than eating meat. It's better for you, better for the animals, better for the planet. I think it's fairly simple to do these days. So I think that if people make any kind of effort, they will find that there are tremendous benefits to their own health. I do believe that killing animals in general coarsens us, so much so that most people prefer not to do it. We have a bad conscience about it. So I think our society would benefit enormously if we simply stopped, and sooner or later we will. I'm convinced of it. If we look into the future 100 years, I think we'll be looking back and saying, how could we have been so barbaric as to kill animals for food when we didn't have to?